Welcome back, some of my students, and some of you are also new. Welcome to the course, and this course is going to be advanced, so you should know the basics. Most of the time we cover after after the 14 days, but yeah, we will have a refresher for all the topics. So don't be afraid, don't be overwhelmed. So we will go step by step. And if you don't have this code editing tool, VS Code, Visual Studio Code, you should install it by clicking over here. I do have already, so I can just say VS Code or Visual Studio Code, and then it comes like this. Okay, then I have to create a folder over here. As you can see, I can just first create. I call it advanced Python. I can call it just advanced Python. Right. Okay, I have this folder. And now I have to open it through this. If you are not familiar with this VS Code, you should do such kind of clicking. Everything is like a toggling. You just toggle over here, it opens, as you can see. Of course, you can use the file over here also. But this icon allows you to open folders. And this one, for instance, to install extensions. For instance, if you don't have a Python extension, you may say Python, and you can install this extension. For instance, let me just uninstall it. And if you don't have it, it looks like this. It should be green. Then install. Now I am installing the Python extension, and this allows me to just write code. I don't have to worry about indentation and whatsoever. Yeah, so it just helped me to be more productive. So I click here over again, open folder, and I have to go to desktop, if you remember. So our advanced Python over here. And as you can see, I have here the project name or the folder or the directory. So everything will be here. So let's create a folder like this or like this. I can call it week-1, week-1. So this is a folder for me. Then let's imagine today is the first day and introduction.py. Yes, every Python code should start with .py. So let's call this file introduction.py. Why not? As you can see, this basic code knows that I'm writing a Python code and I have this button to run my Python code. Of course, you can also drag it from here like this, and you can open the terminal. As you can see, yeah. So now let me just run some code over here. Print hello. And then I can run it by writing Python and then the name of the file. Of course, first I have to go to the week, right? Week-1 and then Python introduction. Hello, great. But now we call this actually a function, right? And the name of the function is print. And we called this function. When we called the function, we gave it argument. The argument is actually hello. Can we pass many arguments? Hello, and then maybe world, maybe 2021, and maybe another I like Python. As you can see, I have quite lots of argument now, maybe a couple of arguments. How many arguments do I have in this function, guys? Yeah, you can also click it from here. Yes, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many arguments does the print function take? How many arguments? 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. True. Maybe a list. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Infinite number of arguments. Is it selective? Does it take a specified or a predefined kind of data types, or does it take any kind of data type? This is print function. As you can see, these are numbers. This is string, and this is a Boolean, and this is a list. And then if you have another data type, it's none. And maybe you can have also a tuple, one, and maybe a tuple, for instance, I can say year and 2021. As you can see, still this is old, so I can go cd week and in Python production. As you can see, it has been printed out. So it doesn't care about the data type. It takes any kind of data types and infinite number of arguments. Great. Now you know the print. The print function is a built-in function. So we have different functions. Now let's move on to built-in functions.py and tell me do some different built-in functions. But before that, what is this in Python? This symbol in Python. It's a comment, yes. What's the purpose of a comment? What's the purpose of a comment? It allows us to leave some remark about the code, right? And it makes code more readable and clean and reusable. For instance, let's say I can say the function below is print. It is a built-in function. It takes unlimited number of arguments. And if I just leave this, now as you can see, I left some text for reading, and this is that I made this more readable, right? Anyone who has this text can read this code. But guys, now this comment is long, so I can make use of this multi-line comment like this. So you can see, you can make multi-line. The print function below is print, and it is a built-in function. It takes a limited number of arguments. So this comment is actually talking about this code. Is it clear? If it's clear, please type 1 for me. That's how you make me happy. Yes, great. Now, So as you can see, this is a single line comment and this is a multi-line comment. You can also make it like this, like this with a double quote. Yes, this is a multi-line comment. Right. Now let's move on to this function, built-in function. Then guys, please tell me the built-in functions. But before that, what is a function? What's the function? Oh, I think most probably this one, the one I mentioned, this Python. So you go here, guys. Someone asked about extension, Python. You can write Python. And then this. As you can see, it's by Microsoft, and 42 million people are already using it or downloaded it, and it's a good one. Now, this is good enough for me, but what is it for? This one is also a kind of well-known, but as you can see, I didn't install it, but let me see. Wait, it's not. Oh, okay. Okay, it's a kind of a linter, the linter to use. Okay, let's go for under the hood. It may work for me. So I'm just because there are many people using it, as you can see. So no harm for using it. Okay, let me see this one, two Python extension pack. This looks also good. Under the hood, it works for you, but if you have time, you can also look through and for what purpose exactly is. But as you can see, also it has quite lots of downloads, so it means very popular. Yeah. So let's get back. But you should have this one. You should have this one. If you don't have this one, maybe you may not have this button. Okay, what's function actually? I may define the function. Function is a set of instructions that can be run with function name. Function can take arguments if the instruction allows that. Yeah, that's very good. It's a set of codes or a block of code that perform a certain task. A certain task. Function is a block of code that execute or perform a certain task. You remember, and it usually has a name, and it should be followed by a parenthesis when we call it, yeah? So we call this, for instance, this is name of function, and these parentheses allow us to pass arguments. Yeah, so when we declare and when we call, it's a bit different. Now, for instance, if I say print is the name of the function and the parentheses allow me to pass arguments, it's like an input. So if I say 1, 2, 3, I'm trying to actually print these values. Okay. So now if I'm interested, hey Python, and then I can say built-in function. Name of a function is not exist. Yeah, because I don't have this. Yeah. So don't be scared whenever you see such kind of errors or error feedback, and just look at it, and then it tells you also where to fix. Line number 5, it was at 5, yeah. So now let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. And maybe if you see print, hi, hello, whatever in your mind. So now as you can see, I have 3 arguments. What is the data type of these three arguments and these arguments? Tell me, what's the data type of this? Oh yeah, and this string. Great, now you know. Great, now let's run this again. So far I have used one built-in function. Let me go for type. This type is actually, but maybe let's first list down some built-in function. Of course, you know the print function, and you know the type, and you know the round to round the numbers, even you know the int to change a number, a value, or a data type to integer, a float. You know this, to change something to string, and to change, maybe instead I can change this to also multiple comment, and then we can list down those values. Okay, help me if I print, type, round, and float, input. Yeah, tell me. Yes, length, that's very great. And even sum, min, max, list, tuple, dict. What else do you know? Eval. Yeah, but do you have to really remember? No, you don't have to. Even if you go to 30 days of Python, and if we go to here, we have some list of built-in functions already. As you can see now, this something I didn't mention, absolute value, absolute value, because I want to show you absolute value, all, any, and to binary, to bool. Bool is very important. I have to show you today. Bool, yes. And what else? I just take the most important for today. Enumerate. Enumerate is also very important because you are advanced learner. So I have to put it here also, enumerate. And filter, we learn about filter later, but we can learn also this, the filter anyway. Then instead, then map and filter. And how about other lambda? It's not a kind of a built-in function, but we will go for another. Okay, ID. For your surprise, there is also ID, ID, and then also sort and sorted. Yeah, okay. And of course, I forgot this set. Let's talk about this set. And super, we will learn that later. I think zip is very important, and let's talk about that. Okay, now let's just settle on this list. I think by now you are familiar with print, so it allows you to print something, and let's do that. Print. Print allow us to print something or some data. Are you agree with this statement? Is this how you use it? Please be active on the chat, and that's how you move it. You make me move. If not, I will just stack at one place. Yeah, we can give it just one argument or a couple of. So let's run this. After this, I just click this to make use of, as you can see, print allows to print something out. Yeah, great. As you can see, it is allow us. So the first built-in function we should learn and understand should be print. because that is our tool to check if something is going well. Now let's check type. Actually, type allow us to know the data type of the data or an information. So I think we have to know also, we have to learn about data types. Could you please tell me different data types now? Data types. Of course, number, and number can be int, float, and the complex number in Python, and then string, and then Boolean, and the list, and then dictionary, tuple, and say. These are the most common data types. Python could have many data types, but let's settle on this. Okay, now then let's check print type of 10. What is the value? What data type are you expecting from this output? As you can see now, I'm just wrapping this and then trying to print this out. So I think you are expecting, oh yeah, integer, as you can see, int. Okay, then print type 3.14. What do you expect from this? Yeah, float, great. And then print type 1 plus 2j. For instance, you may expect a complex number. Yeah, so at the meantime, we learned the different data types and also how to use the type built-in function to check data types. Now let's go print type 2. What do you expect from this? What data type are you expecting? Of course, it should be string, and print type of this. Everyone loves Python, don't you? What kind of data type are we expecting from this? A string. Then what is a string actually? And let's see. String is any data under single or double quote. Is any data? Any data under single or double quote is actually a string. Great. Now let's check if I use int. As you can see, now I'm using the int method. As you can see now, this was actually a string, and I'm using int method to convert it to integer. And now if I check it type and then this, and then print the value, look at here. How many built-in functions are we using here at the same time? Just type for me 3 functions. Yeah, yes. So be familiar with such kind of, great. Yeah, it feels good. Everybody's like aware of what I do. That's what I love teaching advanced people. Great. Now, what value do you expect from line number 23? Yes, int. Great, int. Oh yeah. So as you can see, we have used, but now for instance, I want to say age 150 and my first, let me just declare a variable, no, I'm thinking now in JavaScript name, my name, and okay, last name, so now if I want to age, maybe country, city, age 250. I have some data. So by now, you should know how to declare a variable. As you can see, I declared. How many variables did I declare over here, guys? Tell me, because how many variables do you see? Oh yeah, 5. How many of them are int data type? Great. How many of them are string data types? Oh, great. That's all about programming, understanding how you should declare and what data type are you declaring. All those are very, very important. Yeah, now if I want to concatenate in string full name, I can say first name plus last name. And if I print actually my full name, I may not get the right. Yeah, this is not what you want, right? It's not the proper format. So I should have an empty space in between, and then I can fix that. Oh, that's great. But I want to print a statement that says, my name is Sabina Itai. I live in, oh no, better this. I am 250 years old. I live in Finland, Helsinki, Finland, I think. Helsinki, Finland. Yeah, I want to print something like this. So how do I do that? If you want to concatenate, for instance, if you want to concatenate, I am, for instance, I may show you print, I am plus 150. Let's try this. It's impossible to concatenate a string and a number together, but as you can see, Python is so smart, can only concatenate string, not int. So we have to use the stir method to convert this to string first. Have you seen now? We make use of the stir method. Oh yeah, great. So if that's the case, then we can say, as you can see, if this say my name, then I can put it here. Space plus full name plus dot plus again of course I am whatever third age plus years old, and then again plus I live in plus Helsinki, oh no, city plus dot, and then again, and this, what is this, the country, and plus. It's tiring, right? I know you. Okay, as you can see, let's see the value. I may not get the desired output, so I can fix it. My name is Asavinita. I'm 250 years old. I live in Helsinki, Finland. Let me correct it there. I live in Helsinki. I think this should be comma. And the rest seems we don't need space over here. Yeah, this is a string concatenation, as you can see, but this seems doesn't need any space over there. Oh no, it needs. Okay. Great, but guys, we have a better way to concatenate. So we call that string interpolation. This is a very old way of concatenating. Yeah, but the reason why I showed you, one, you have to know how to concatenate string. Second, how to use the stir method. Great. Now let's use the other method. I use the F string like this. And then we replace this with something like full name. And then this one also age. And this one also city. And this one also. Which one is clean for you guys? Which one? And then you can just print this. Which one is clean? Very, very clean for me. The second one is so clean. The F string, the string interpolation is so clean. Yeah, I will also show you a bit later how powerful this could be. And so clean, and there's no high chance of making mistakes. So we have seen the print type round. Round is very good method. For instance, we print round of 9.81. What do you expect the rounding of 9.81? Of course, if anyone with the right mind should guess this to 10, right? Great, yes. And now let's do round of 3.14 and 3.14. What should be the rounding of that? Yeah, I'm expecting your answer, guys. Of course, it should be. And now let's do another rounding. How about if it is 1.414? What do you think the rounding of this? Yeah, it should be 1. And what about the rounding of this? And we will be done. What would be the rounding of this? 3. Yeah, great. Oh, yes, that's how round used. By the way, the round can be also used differently. For instance, you may have print round of, sometimes, you know, some numbers may have 3.14, 14141414. You never know. And then maybe you don't like to have all these digits. Maybe you may be interested to 2 significant digit here. So you can give it a value here. Maybe first let's see with 3. As you can see, 3.141. And then maybe 2. And then we'll have 2. As you can see, maybe you might be interested 1. Great. Yeah. So for instance, if I use here just 1, I will have 9.81. If I use also here 1, I will have 3.14. But if this is 5, I will have 3.2. Maybe I will show you. Okay. Print round of 4.55. So if I round this to 1, I have to see 4.6. Oh, what is that? Maybe I think, let me see, make this. Yeah, because that the 5 is just at the middle, so it goes down. Okay, so it just, yeah, so it goes, it's just in at the midway. Okay, great. Now let's move on to the other built-in methods, and then we saw int and float. Yeah, sometimes, guys, you may get a data like this. Maybe you want to change print float 2. You want to change it to a float, and it will be 2.0. Or maybe you may have a data, for instance, float 9.81, as you can see. Yeah. So what would be the result of this? Yeah, it would be 9.8 as in a float. But how about if I say print int 9.81? For your surprise, this is an error actually. Let's see. Yeah, it's an error because first you have to change it to float. But let's see. First change it to float. Float. And then from float, you can change it to int. And now you will get actually 9. Yes. Oh, yeah, great. So, yeah, that is how it works. Great. Now let's go back to the other methods we promised to cover. Where are they? Floatster input. Great value. For instance, let's have a value user input, for instance, radius. Let's calculate area of a circle. Area of a circle, right? Area of a circle, usually area is equal to pi times radius times radius. This is how you calculate area of a circle. Then we can say radius, we can get from user. Hey, radius, let's get it from a user using input. Enter a radius in meter. Then after that, we can calculate. Then area is equal to the radius, maybe pi is 3.14 for the time being, and radius times radius. And then now let's do the print area. Okay, let's run this value. Okay, 10. And then again, enter. As you can see, cannot multiply sequence by non-int of a type float. So as you can see, the data type you get actually print type of. Check the type you are getting here. And if I do that before even I'm printing, let's comment this out for the time being. As you can see, 10, it is a string. So I have to change this to a float first. Then I can do float by float, get the data, this means, and change it to float. This, I'm wrapping it. Of course, I have to change it to int first. Now my function should work. Everything should work. Let's try. Okay, 10. As you can see, 34 square meter. Yes, then I can say f string, the area of the circle with radius. Yes, and again, area. Because even this, the f string method allow us to inject number without converting to string like this. Yeah, great. But if it was just a normal kind of string interpolation, I have to change this to string using the stir method. Let's see now. Maybe 10. The area of the circle with 10 meter radius. Yes, square meter, whatever. Yeah, good, right? But in the breakout room, I will ask you to change this to a function. Okay, good. Okay, great. Let's move on. Now we made use of this, the input, then lane. For instance, I have this my name, as you can see, first name print, the length of my name. I have got the longest name ever used. And so let's see, I think about, now we don't have to run this function because input, I don't like the input. It just run all the time. So it will be annoying for us. Okay, let's run it again. Yeah, 8. Let me just compare the length of my last name. I think my last name is shorter than my name. That's much better. Yes, so we can use learn to check the length of a string. Can we also check the length of other data types? For instance, list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For instance, this a list of numbers, even you may have something inside, or maybe another data type, true, it's a Boolean, and even a tuple, 1, 2, 3. And maybe even a say it 2, 3, 4. How many items do you see in this list? I think it's a very good question to ask. How many items do you see in this list? Yes, great. 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Great. So I should get 9. So these are number data types, and they are also integers, string, and a Boolean, a tuple, and you tell me, what's the data type I have here? What kind of data type is it? Set, yes. Now if I add another data type, yes, language item. Yes, now I have almost all the data types. Yeah. By the way, if I use a kind of loop that can check the data type, let me just show you. We didn't start that yet. Just I can call it this just list. I am just storing this list like this. And you guys know how to loops, right? For item in list, and you can just print type of each item, and the Python will give you. Have you seen? Yes. But this doesn't even make sense because we have to also print the item next to that, and you will see the item and the type, the data type right away. Oh yeah, 1 is int, 2 is int, 3 int, 4 int, 5 int. Something is string, true is Boolean, and this is tuple, and this is actually set, and this is dict. Yeah, it's pretty, right? Okay, so is it familiar to you guys what I do? Please type 1 for me if this is some kind of familiar to you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Then now length, now sum. Okay, so sum. Let's make use of the sum by how do I just do multiple comment? Is it yeah. If you are using desk Windows, if you just press Alt and Shift and A, that allows you to comment out. Oh, great. Now let's move on to use the sum. The print the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4. Most probably this may not work. Because it may take a different data type. Instead, let's just make use of the mean. What's the minimum value of this data? Yeah, then let's figure out. It's 1, great. And then let's check the max. Yeah, 4. And let's just also figure out if this function take a list instead of just value like that. As you can see, it just takes a value like this and it just or like this. It's very great. But how about if we try to print and the sum? I think we have two. I have to match this. What do you think? I think this may not run because I will check. Yeah, takes at most 2 arguments because this works only with list, the sum of this list. It makes sense only for list. Great. So yeah, so sometimes instead of writing your own sum function, you can make use of the sum, the max, and the minimum. No need to write your own function. What is this list? Oh, list is very powerful. It changes some data type to a list. For instance, if I have print and list, and I may have something like this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What kind of data type do I have here inside now, guys? Inside I have no, it's not a dictionary, it's a set. But now I will have it as in a list. Yes, as in a list. And if you have also as in a tuple, you change it to, let's change also this as in a tuple. Okay, let me change it to as in a tuple and print this out. Oh yeah. You can change it to a list. Even how about if we have a list of a dictionary? If we have something like this, name, I can call it a sub, and then age, 150, and let's try to change this. As you can see, you can change it to a list, but only with it just change only the keys. So it only if you are interested to the keys of a dictionary, you can take it out like this. Oh, great. Now I think you know how to use the list. Tuple is also to change other data type, for instance, list to tuple, and also what is this? Set to tuple. Dictionary. Dictionary allows you also to create empty dictionary. List allows you also to create an empty list. For instance, let me show you empty list. You just do this, you are creating an empty list. You can check it like this, print empty list. It should be an empty list over there. Oh yeah, great. And sometimes even if you do print and list, for instance, hey, Python, actually it changed this to a list. Yeah, let me show you. Have you seen? It changes to a list. Oh, great. No, so if you use also instead of list, if you use dict or set or tuple, it creates an empty list or set or tuple or dictionary. So we will not spend time for this or this. And now absolute values actually print the absolute value of -5. It's 5, right? Yes, so the absolute value, print the absolute value of 5, positive 5, it will be just 5. Okay, yeah, I think everybody knows that. It's changing most of the time too. If it's positive, just positive, but if it's negative, you change it to positive. Boolean. Oh yeah, this is very important somehow. The bool actually changes values to true or false. Okay, because Boolean values are true or false, Boolean data types. Yeah, I think you're familiar. So let me check now. I think I can just leave it like that. Let's print the type of true. It's a Boolean, right? And if I say print type of false, these are also Boolean. When do we get Booleans? When we compare things, if something is greater or less than or equal to or something like that. Comparison usually give us Booleans. So yeah, that's the time we get the value of a Boolean that's true or false. Now let's run this and check. It seems we've been running this for so long. How about if we have a 10 minutes break and return to the lesson? Welcome back. So let's just keep going. Where did we stop? Actually, we've been talking about Boolean. As you can see, Boolean values are true or false. We have just only two values, the true or the false values. But actually in Python or other programming language, all the strings, numbers, both negative, I think it's better, positive and negative are true. What are false Boolean values? 0 is a false type, and empty, empty dict, empty list, empty values, not also all those like empty list, empty set, empty dict or dictionary, empty tuple, all, and maybe none, and maybe this also could be Boolean false value. Okay, let's see. Print a bool type of bool. If it is true, yeah, of course, this is going to be. Yeah, but what am I trying to do? No, we don't need it. This is going to be, as you can see, it's true. Because, and if this is false, it's false. But values, how about this value? What do you think about some string or whatever? What is this? What did I say for this value? It will be interpreted as positive value. Okay, so I mean a true value, so it's going to be true. As you can see, true. How about if I give it number? It could be just 1 or 2 or 10, whatsoever. It's also going to be true value. How about if I give it -1 or -10 or whatsoever? And that's also going to be true value. And then what's negative? Print what is negative then? I mean, what's false value? What's false value? Let's see the false values below. Okay, the false value should be the false itself. Of course, false should be false value, right? Yes. As you can see, false itself is a false value. How about 0? 0 is a false value. Yes, empty list. Let's see the empty list. For instance, this. It should be a false value. Oh, yeah. And if you go, for instance, again, a tuple, empty tuple. This is an empty tuple, as you can see. Yeah. And then maybe empty set, empty set. The empty set, this is how you create an empty set. And let's see, a falsy. And then again, let's try to, we did tuple already. And this is dict, an empty dict. We can create an empty dict like this. We don't have null here in Python, but I will tell you what's the equivalent of null here. This is the dict or dict like this. Both okay. Both are okay. Let's move on. Great. And then how about this? This value. I'm expecting also false. Yeah. And someone asked me null value instead of null, none. Let's try. False. I think as far as I know, these are the false values, but there might be also some additional, but these are actually very important. So yeah, Jansen, have you seen the equivalent of null? Here is actually none, okay? In Python, but null is in JavaScript. Okay, great. And now we have seen the built-in function that allow us to convert values to true or false. And let's move on to enumerate. Great. So let's just declare, for instance, the countries. Don't you love countries? I love countries. Do you know my list of countries? Yes, it goes like this all the time. Finland. Oh, what? Finland, and then Sweden, and then again, Denmark. Yes, there's a mark in there. And Norway, and then Iceland. How many countries do I have in my collection or in my list? Who, yeah, tell me, guys, please. Yes, 5 countries. That's great. Now, if I want to loop through for country in countries, right? And I say print and country. I can print each country one after another, and you may see the value over here. Finland. Maybe I can just comment this out, and I will not be bothered by this long list of, yes, great. And even if I have also other, I can also comment this out. Great. And I can also comment this out, actually. It's good. Up to here. Uh-oh. Now I will not be bothered by other outputs, but only the output what we are looking for. Yeah, here as you can see, we have this data, Finland. Even I don't really want to have other outputs. Let's just turn everything off. Maybe we can just include this in somewhere. What a surprise. I thought I commented out everything, but okay. And what on earth this can be printed out? How? Oh, we have some over here. Yeah, we can also do this. Yeah, now it seems we don't have any other active codes. Yeah, let's just keep going, you know. There's just an output is coming all the time, but we focus on this, right? But we don't know the index. Sometimes if we are interested to know the index of this, of course, the index of Finland is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but if the list is very long, you don't know the index. So we have this enumerate. Okay, just forget about this. Forget about if I just do enumerate, and then if I pass these countries, what do I get? Let's see. Just print this value. As you can see, I got a kind of enumerate, but let's again change this to a list, because you have to change it to a list to see what's happening over there. Oh yeah, as you can see, the enumerate changed the list to a list of tuples. Yeah, have you seen this? So nice, the index and the value, Oh yeah, so that means now we can actually loop through this value for XYZ for the time being, and then in countries, don't do that, print XYZ. Yeah, it's not a very good name, XYZ, as you can see. Yeah, XYZ gave me this, but I can call also the item, or item, I can change it. Yes, the item. So as you can see, the item is actually a tuple. I can destructure here the tuple. The first value is the index, and the second value is actually the country now. So now if you just print here the index and the country, So we can make use of this to put, for instance, to get the index. For instance, if we want to list down, like in a human way, maybe human readable way, I can add, and I can just make a kind of a list. One, the first country, yeah, I think you got it. Great. Let's move on. So enumerate, you need it whenever you are interested to know the index of a list. Enumerate, map, filter. Yes, map is actually a higher order function that allows you to map. What does that map means? For instance, I can map Finland to something like, the countries to something like this. Maybe I can map it like this. Hey, Finn. Then north, ice. How about if I want? So how do you do that? You may say, hey map, and then you may say lambda, some x, and then x, you may slice the first, maybe I think first you have to change it to uppercase, and then you may slice the first 3 letters, and then you pass the countries list. Actually, when you print this out, you don't get just a list, instead you get a map object. Then we do, yeah, so we have to change this to a list using the list constructor, or built-in function. Oh yeah, have you seen how we made it? And if you also just want to, now as you can see, I may scroll it down, this map to this map to this map to this, yeah, mapping, one-to-one matching. Yeah, that's the map, the value. We can also create, for instance, just x, and then x to upper, and then we can also create list of list. Yeah, and let's see the value now. It's a bit different. As you can see, what am I? What did I create? I think there's something I didn't finish. Oh yeah, I didn't invoke this, calling the, as you can see, Finland, uppercase, and the Finn. Yeah, so I created a list of list. So how many items do I have here? Tell me, guys, how many items do I have in here? 5. Yes. How many items do I have here? 5. Whenever you do matching, if you have 5 items, your output also should be 5, right? It's a one-to-one matching. Yep. Great. And then let's filter. Hey, filter. I want to, I can use the lambda function x, and from the countries, I'm looking for countries that has land. Then land in X. Yeah, this is good enough. And then countries. And I have to change this also again to a list. Oh yeah, Finland and Iceland do have land. How about if we filter out countries that are without land? Land for X, land not, so not in. So this like this. Oh yeah, Sweden, Denmark, Norway do not have land. Of course they have land, but in our Python course, these countries do not have land anyway. Okay, is it clear, guys, what I'm doing? Okay. Now let's move on and make use of what map and filter ID. Actually, this very good built-in function that allows you just to generate random number ID. I think takes exactly one argument. For instance, let's just give 5. As you can see, it just generate random. For instance, how about when? Let me do this. I want to, as you can see, this generates a random number and it generates unique random number for the parameters. For instance, if you provide 1 and the generator provides you this, as you can see, it's the same. But if I just change this to, it will be different. So for instance, if I want to generate for I in range, now range, do you remember range? So like, for instance, 10 and print, I can make use of the ID of 0, and let's see the different. Have you seen? Oh, sorry. I have now generated 10 different IDs. Great. So that just allows you to generate random number. Now let's move on. Sorted. And who can help me to clear out the difference between sort and sorted? Anyone who can help me? Okay, I will show you. Let me just create nums list. 4, 2, 5, 3, 2, 6, -3, and then 5. Okay, this is just number, and I can sort it out. I can say nums and then sort. I just put the operation like this. Now, because now this operation sorted this. That means the original data has been mutated. Now I used one jargon word, mutation. So what does that mutation actually? I mean, modifying the original data, we call it mutation or modifying. So let me try to print the original data, nums, and I will have a different value, as you can see, -3. But sometimes you may not want to modify the original data. Instead, let's have a copy, you may work on the copy. Maybe you can say copy like this, and then I can say nums2. Now I copied it. After I copy, I'm sorting. So now let's print nums2 and nums1 together. Oh, wait, yeah, I should have done it differently. This is not how we do it. A bit like this, nums2. Okay, great. Now let's see. Yeah, as you can see, this is the original data, and this is the sorted data. And I use sort in a different way. But instead of copying the data, we have another method called sorted. Sorted just to do for us without modifying the original. So let's just comment this out. I can just comment this out and use, for instance, I can call it sorted nums, and then I can say sorted, and I pass nums. Now this print nums, yeah, the nums is intact, is not modified, and sorted nums. Let's see. This one is the sorted, and this is the original. The first one is the original, as you can see. So I would recommend you to make use of the sorted instead of the sort, because sort mutate the original data, and you should be very systematic to make use. And whenever you want to mutate or modify, you should know, you should be aware if you are modifying it without knowing is bad, but if you're aware, it's okay. If you're aware of what you are doing, great. What I think another is like sorted set. We haven't seen it already. Zip. Let's zip. Oh yeah. For instance, you get some data, these countries. Let's create another data maybe for these countries. How about if we call, by the way, the capital city of Iceland is so hard. Capital city of Iceland. Let's just have it here, and then I will have cities. And let's go for Helsinki and Stockholm, and Copenhagen, and Oslo. And I have opened it here, Reykjavik, or I don't know, it's really hard for me. Yes. Here we have the capital city. Oh, now you can imagine that we have this data is separate, and sometimes we want to merge this data together. It's not concatenate. Of course, you can concatenate this together. Like if you do, for instance, print countries plus cities, you know what the result is going to be. That's not what you want. This is not what you want, right? It's not. This is not a very good data structure. But maybe we can say zip countries and their cities. I think this can give us a very good result, but this is a zip object. So most of the time we just change objects to list, and let's see what this object, zip object means. Norway, Finland, Helsinki, Sweden, Stockholm, Denmark, Copenhagen. Yeah, this is much better, right? What do you think? It's a smart data, it's a better data structure, right? Now we have this together and we can loop through these values. Okay. For item in this zipped value, print the item, and you will see actually. Yeah, now even like to make it more complex. Can I enumerate this? Yes, why not? Enumerate again, and the zip also. What? Oh yeah, as you can see, we have also this, if you are interested. And then I can say the first is the index, and then the second is the item. And now I can say index, and in the item also I have like the first one, the 0 is the country, and then item, the 1 is the city. Oh, great. As you can see. Yeah, maybe if you want to have a human readable form, yes. The first, Finland, Helsinki, Sweden, Stockholm, Denmark, Copenhagen, Norway, Oslo, Iceland, Reykjavik. What? what a difficult city. Yeah, I think these built-in functions already are very common. Where are they? Very common when you are working on Python, and we will work or we will use them now and then. Yes, I think it's better now if we have a breakout room and if we have some kind of checking how much you know. So I will ask you a couple of questions from here and you will work on that in the breakout room. So I may send you individually and I will come to you and check you, okay? So I will send this to you, or I mean here, and also at the same time on the Telegram group. Yeah. And now let's stop the recording. Welcome back. So we go through these questions just to make you very, very familiar to the basics of Python. As you can see here, what's programming? Yeah, write a short description of programming. Anyway, guys, so programming is just an instruction that let the program, the computer to execute some tasks. So it's a set of instruction that can be executed from top to bottom. Usually it goes from top to bottom. What does that mean, top to bottom? For instance, we wrote these different functions, right? The execution goes from line number 1 and down to the bottom. Yeah, that means list down some of the importance of Python programming language. Oh yeah, guys, you can list as many importance as possible. It can be for desktop application, for server, for backend programming language, for desktop for desktop application or software development, or it could be for data analysis, machine learning, whatsoever. What version of Python are you currently using? So you may just come to here, CMD, and you just write like Python, and then version. I think that doesn't work, but you can say Python version. The long way could be. But it should exit Python yeah. So as you can see, Python 3.96, or you can just write Python and you can see this. The Python interactive shell itself tells you Python 3.0. Sometimes whenever you want to just try out something, you can come here and hello, you may check it. Sorry, I made a typo here. So it's a bug. Fixing this, we call it debugging, right? Print 1 plus 99, and I'm expecting 100, right? And even you don't have to use a print, it works by itself. For instance, 20 to the power of 10, 1024, print whatsoever. You don't have to use print over here. So this is the interactive Python shell. To get out from here, you can invoke the exit function, and let's get out from there. What code editor are you using? We chose to use Visual Studio Code. That's awesome. What's the Python interactive shell? You saw it already, this. You can just open it by writing CMD at the start over here, and then you can just open it by writing py or Python. Yeah, opened. And then you may just write print. I just really love Python. Yes, it seems like everybody is in love of Python. Yeah, so yeah, this is the interactive Python shell, and you can write Python codes, whatever Python codes you want, whenever you feel lazy and whenever you don't like to open the Visual Studio Code, you can just work it. But this cannot be used for development purpose, just for testing. Yeah, short scripts. Let me check the message. There's some message. Oh yeah, great. How do you open the interactive Python shell, and how do you close it? We have seen that. What's the extension of the Python script file? Tell me, guys. Yep, tell me what's the extension? .py. Everybody should be. And now let's see comments. We have seen comments already, right? To do a comment, you just use the hash and then whatever you want to say, and it will be used as a remark, and it allows our code to be very readable. Yeah, great. And it could be single or double. Yeah, to write a double quote, actually, we can just write something like this. So as you can see, 3 double quotes, multi-line can be written like this, or the other way, you can also write it like this. Maybe, how was it? No, maybe I think like this, sorry. Yes, like this, also possible. Either this way or this way is possible. Yeah, this way is also possible. What is this? Yeah, unexpected indentation. Yes, that's because of indentation. Python is very serious about indentation. Yeah. Yeah, we are done with data types. List all the data types you know and give one example of each data types. Yes, great. Yeah, you remember data types are very important. Please tell me the list of them before that. We have mentioned it already, but we have to mention it again. Tell me, guys. Yes, number, and in the number we have different lists, int, float, and complex number. And then we have Booleans. Yes, the Booleans are true or false, and then a string, and then we have list, and then we have set, and we have tuple, and we have dictionary. These are the core data types in Python, and let's do a for
instance. Good morning, everyone. On a beautiful fall morning like this one, I love to wake up and make myself a hearty breakfast. Hi, hello, hi, I like breakfast.
No, thank you. No breakfast. I don't read breakfast, really. Yes, please turn off your mic, and
eggs,
that would be nice.
First things first, coffee. It will get better soon. I take my coffee grounds and scoop a spoonful.
Great. Yeah. Print, for instance, print, and then 10 is an int data type. Maybe type of will allow us, as you can see, 10. What print type? What's here? I don't see the problem here. What happened? Do you see the problem? Print type, and then for instance 10. I don't know what's, let me see. Oh, indentation again. Great. So as you can see, we have int there, print type of 9.81. We have a float and print and type of, and maybe complex number 1 plus 4j. This is actually a complex number. Don't worry about the complex number. Why you care? Because most of the time you don't need it, but it's good to know that it exists. Yeah, now let's move on to different data types. For instance, Boolean. The Boolean type is actually true or false, and we can have these true false values by different ways, and we have seen it already. If you remember how we create, yeah, the different, by now I think you may remember it, so I don't have to go too much deep. We have seen it already. And then string data types. And the string data types, you may say country, and then if you say Finland, and that is actually a string, and city, and if you say Helsinki, and this is a string data type. A string could be just a character, just a letter, like in A, or it could be just the whole alphabet or a paragraph alphabet. Yes, and it would be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and then maybe even A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. This actually, sometimes if you want to generate a user ID, you may use such kind of a string, and then you can just slice out one after another. For instance, you can combine, let's say, user ID, you may just do something like this. For letter in alphabet, print L. If you do this, of course, I will print 52 numbers. Oh yeah, but that's not the point. Instead, maybe I can just run some kind of like in range 7-digit range. And then I want to run how many times? Maybe 6 times. And instead I can say user ID and user ID again plus alphabet, and then I can just slice one of the number 6 times. But you know, this is actually I have to do this. If I generate and randomly I have to pick this, so we have to have some way of generating random number. Okay, in that case, do you know import random, and from dot random, let's see what we get. Random. If you invoke this, it gives you actually 0, 2. Yeah, for the time being, let's just give it some 0 value. Module object is not callable because it's not random. We have to say random dot random, because dot random rand int would be good because it just generates all the time. Rand int between, for instance, 0 and 10, it just gives me, as you can see, 8. So what's the value of this? Then I can go for alphabet. So then I can say length of alphabet. Then this allows me to generate index every time. So what I should do, yeah, I can say index is going to be this, and then this would be index. And then now I actually print user ID, then you may get some kind of, have you seen I got this? And then again, if you try, yeah, what string index out of range, because the reason why we should have subtracted 1 from here because it doesn't include the last value. So we should, yeah, no. And if you want, you can also add 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we will have a as you can see, a combination of letters and numbers ID. Can we increase this? For instance, if you want your maybe 32 digit, then you can see a very big ID. Yeah, so how do we change this to a function? Okay, great. So we can actually change this to function def gen user ID, and then I'm just put everything inside. And why I don't need this part. I don't need this part. But there should be an indentation right here. That's very good. And this also needs some indentation, I think. Yeah. This level. And then after that, we should return the user ID. Yep. So, but by default, we can just, maybe I can say ID, maybe I think length of the ID by default is 6. And I pass this to 6 lengths. But now let me show you. Print generate user ID. Now I have to generate 6. Yeah, 6, as you can see, 6-digit user ID. But if I want, I can even make it shorter, and it can be 3, because I can pass. If I pass, because I have a default, by default is 6, but if you just give anything, then you will get 3. But how about if I want 62 or 32 digit? You can just pass 32, and then I can create, oh yeah, such a lovely user ID. So as you can see, this is now a kind of robust, what do I call it? Robust function. It can be, you can give it different argument, and it can generate anything you want. Okay, let's move on, guys. So different list, how do you check Python data type? We have seen that. Declare a variable of all data types. So we have seen also that so far. Declaring is anyway. For instance, if you say A is equal to 5, it's 10. I mean, you can say 3. Then B is equal to 4, which is an int data type, and C 1 plus 2j, it's a complex data type, and maybe D, if you say 9.81, it's a float. And if you say again, Boolean, for instance, is light on, if you say true, it's a Boolean type, is raining, again, it's not, yeah, so false, it's not. Are you married? Is married. If it's true, yeah, now we have. But value, for instance, I can say just value, and the value, if I compare 4 is greater than 2, I think this is going to be, we're comparing 2 values, and the value is going to be true, and the value the value we stored in this variable is going to be also true. Yeah. Okay, let me check. I think I have quite lots of this thing. So I have to go to the other one. Declare variable data type, check data type of, and maybe other data types. Okay, then list. A list could be 1, 2, 3, 4. A list of numbers, a list of names. For instance, maybe Donald and maybe Barack. Okay, maybe now you may just may see Joe, and maybe you may speak then Bill. So these are famous people's names, and list of countries or cities or whatsoever. Yeah, that's list. Yes, and then set, you can say set of numbers, set of names, and then we can just create 1, 2, 3, 4 set of whatsoever. And then tuple. Tuples, I usually write tuple like this, and tuples are 1, 2, 3, 4 tuples. Once if you create them, you can't actually modify them. They are immutable. And dictionary, dict, usually we say, for instance, first name, and then the name of that person, And last name, for instance, I go with the last name and the age, as you can see, 250, and maybe city or country. And then we can say Finland and city. We can say Helsinki. It could be double quote or single quote, but it's good to have uniformity, Helsinki. And then we may say is married. Yes, true. The Boolean value shouldn't be in a string. It should be just free like this. And then skills. What are the skills for this person? You can create again HTML, maybe CSS, and then JavaScript, and then Python, as you can see. And then address, actually, what's the address of this person? Address. And then you can create another dictionary again. Street name, yeah, space street. And then zip code, and then you can give some value for zip code 02270, and it goes like this. Have you seen now? We just created a very good, but the name dict is not, it's better. User information, I called it user or person. So the name of the variable. Is it going well, guys? Type 1 for me if everything is going all right. Yep. Okay, what variables? Operations. I think by now everybody knows the operations, but it's also good to know the operations. Okay. Okay, we have this because now I am afraid I picked that because we have students from different places and it's really hard to know how much you know. For instance, if you have something like this, print A plus B. So we have this arithmetic operation, guys. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulus, that means remainder, and exponentiation. So I will show you this. Yeah, maybe I can say print and then F string and then A plus, okay, B, and then A plus B. So this would be good. So what do you think? What do 3 plus 4? I think you may expect now 7, right? Yeah, I think I have seen 7 at the bottom. Oh, nothing is printed out. Let's see. Yeah, 3 plus 4 is 7. Now let's just do the same for the others. So we can do this subtraction, and I am expecting -1. And if I multiply this, I am expecting 12. Let's do this. And yeah, 3 minus 4. Yeah, let's do more. How about if we divide 3 by 4? I'm expecting actually 0.75. 0.7. Great. Let's do a floor division. Floor division means like this. When you divide 3 by 4, what is the quotient? Actually, we can't divide 3 by 4. So the floor division is going to be 0. Yeah, 0. But how about if we do the other way? What does that mean the other way? If I divide B by, oh no, don't do that. B by A, I am expecting the result would be 1, because when you divide 4 by 3, there will be 1 times. Yeah, as you can see, 1. So now let's do remainder, the remainder of this also. remainder, you can just use the modulus, sign this the percentage, and then I go here also percentage. When we divide 4 by 3, the remainder will be 1. Yes. And then let's do exponential equation. Oh yeah, I have here, and 3, I mean 4 the power of, let's see, 4 the power of 3 is 64. Now you know the arithmetic operations. We just use Python to do this calculation, right? Yeah. So by now, I am sure everybody managed to revise the operations. Getting user input, we have covered this already. Yeah, but just to see if we need, for instance, name, you can say input, enter your name. Yeah. Country, you can just also then print the name. Yeah, so I can write my name, for instance, here. Yeah, the name has been printed out. But if we put actually numbers, we have to change it to float, because anything we get as a user input is in a string data type, okay? Now that's strings do have different methods. Yeah. For instance, we have the country Finland, right? The country Finland, let's see, I'm declaring. So I can actually just say, hey, country to upper, that means changing everything to uppercase, as you can see. Oh, you know that I don't like actually this undo. Yes, I have to comment it out, and I don't have to have, yeah, as you can see, everything is uppercase. And if you want also this to lowercase, you can say to lower. So we call these methods. If you attach a kind of a function to a string or other object, we call it methods. So you should be very familiar with methods and built-in functions. Okay, functions, you write them by themselves. Okay, maybe if I just change this to F, it would be good to see everything to lowercase. But how about if I change this to title case, dot title? Yeah. Now maybe I can say Finland is awesome. Okay, maybe beautiful. Beautiful is much better. So let's see the value, as you can see now. This, in this case, everything is uppercase, yeah, it was small case also. Now, this title case, as you can see, everything is, maybe I think it's better, at least if I start with the Finland, and it will be a very good sign for us. Yeah. Why? Yeah, now as you can see here, everything is lowercase. Yeah. How about swap case? Even you can swap it for your surprise. Swap means swap case. If it is upper, change it to lower, and if it's lower, it will be upper. So because of the swapping, F used to be capital, now it's lower. Yeah, there's lots of methods. Okay, do we have this? Does it start with fin? Like start with fin. Yeah, let's check. Okay, do you think this is starting with fin? Yeah, it starts with fin actually. True. Is it start? Is it end with? What is it? End with? And with, I can say full, and it's more beautiful or whatsoever. True. So there is quite a lot of methods for Python. So I would recommend you to go through 30 days of Python for that. And yeah, so that's what I may recommend. Conditionals, it's good also to know. So let's see conditionals. Conditions, this is how you write. If, and then the condition comes here. For instance, A is equal to 3. If A is greater than 0, print positive. Yeah, let's see. So A is 3. 3 is greater than 0. Yes, that's true. So it should be positive. Yeah. How about if I change it to -3? Nothing. So I have to have another block, else block, print negative. So, but it's not, as you can see, negative. Okay, great. Now it works. But how about if it's 0? It is still negative. It should be 0 is not negative. So we have to have another block, else elif. Elif A is equal to 0, then actually it should be print 0. Elif A is less than 0, print negative. Then as you can see, how about else? Not a number. Yeah, great. Now, as you can see, let's run. It says 0. Yeah, 0. How about if I just change this to something else? Yeah, as you can see now, type error, because I can't compare this with number, string with number. So we have to have exception handling. So we will come to that later next week. So let's get back. So this is already an if condition. Even we have ternary condition. We can say if A is greater than, for instance, 0, I can say positive, else negative. And then now I'm storing the value here. Short way of writing if, else, if, this. Positive value, negative value. So sometimes, so if this one, else the other one. So let's see the value. What do you expect in the value now, guys, based on this expression? I'm expecting, because A is 0, but let's change this to maybe 5. I have 5. So I think positive value I'm expecting. Yeah, positive value. If I change this to, I'm expecting negative value. Yeah, great. So we covered these conditionals. Then let's go for loops. Yeah. Oh, in Python, we have 2 kinds of loops. The while loop and the for loop. Let's start with the for loop. But before that, there is the range in built-in function. If I say 3, actually it means it creates a tuple 0 to 3, but it doesn't include 3. Okay, let's see this. I can call it, I think it's okay, a list. If you say range, I think I can just call it there. And let's print this out, print list. What I have, as I told you, it's from 0 to, from 0 to 3, but it doesn't include. But I can change this to a list, that range. And then you will see the items. Now you can see 0, 1, 2. Yeah, it's the power. Now, based on that, if I say for I in range 0, I mean 3, I mean that's from actually 0 to 2. Yeah, 0 to 2. But it has starting. Now by default, I'm starting from 0, and it has increment. And by default, the increment is 1, and I'm not changing anything now. But how about if I want to go from 0 to 10? Yeah, it remains the same as you can see. It doesn't go 0 to 10, but 9, and the increment is 1. But how about if I want to 2? I can increment by 2. As you can see now, I managed to select only even numbers. Now, if I go to up to 100, and if I start from 0, and if the increment is 2 every time, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and that's even numbers. Oh yeah, great. That's what I asked you. How about if you want to change this to odd numbers? You can start from 1 and increment from 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, that is actually odd numbers. As you can see now, all the odd numbers together. And if I ask you to create a function, def, sum of all numbers, yes, you make it n, then maybe you can say total. And for total, you may start from 0. For I in num plus 1, because it doesn't include, then total is actually equal to total plus I, and then you should return a value total. And then let's see the value here, print sum of all 100. Yeah, we are expecting 505. What? I see something wrong in, what is that? Line 151. Nine. You should say rent plus 1. Oh, I thought I wrote the range in there. I thought I wrote the range in there, so it's because of that. As you can see, I got the result. So now you know how to do this. Yeah, it's a pretty function, right? If I'm interested only in even numbers, I can say 0, and I can just do the increment by 2. Now I'm summing up only the even numbers. Yes, 200. And if you want to change to odd, you may just change the starting, and now you achieved also the sum of all odds and the sum of all evens and the sum of all numbers. That includes evens and odds. Great loops. And maybe I think, how do we use a while loop? The while loop, for instance, count, or maybe you can say just whatever k. Yeah, maybe k is equal to 0. Maybe while k is less than 10, I can say print k, but every time I have to increment k. So k is equal to k plus 1. So this will give me from 0 to 9. As you can see, 0 to 9. If I want to go also 100, I can say this will take me from 0 to 100. Yeah, please see. Great. So this is another while loop. Okay. And remember, for instance, if I'm looking for some number, and if for instance, if k is divisible by 5 and k is divisible by 11, then break. If I want to break, instead of just going forever, I want to break at some point. So actually this means if a number that can be divisible by 5 and 11 is going to be 55. Let's try. What? It seems it didn't go. Did it? Let's try. Okay, let's do this increment. This should be 0 and this should be 0. Yeah, let's try. Yeah, as you can see at 55, it didn't run at 55. But if I change this down, maybe at 55, it didn't go down. Maybe I think I should put this at the top here. And then I will have a chance to. Why? Okay. 54. Yeah, we don't have to, but if we want to also print 55, we can, but we don't have to. I hope you get the idea. So we can use break or continue. How about if we say continue? The continue actually, it skips 55 and it will continue, by the way. As you can see, if we go all the way up, then we don't have 50. Oh, surprise. Then our code has some loopholes. 50.
The print should be after the continue.
You mean here?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yes, no, we don't have the but we skipped also this.
I think it works all right now because you don't have 55 there.
Yeah, it works now. Yeah, I can see that it skipped 55. It skipped 55. Yeah, but the point is here you can use continue or break. Continue whenever you want to skip some value while you are looping. You can use it here also in a for loop also. For instance, for I in a range 10, for instance, you may say if I is equal to 5, you may say break. Of course, we can print every now and then, print I. Why this is having by default a kind of, yeah, let's see also here. This looping from this far is too much for me. I can just comment this out again. But let's see also. As you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3 didn't go up to 9. I mean, at 10, it didn't go up to 10, and it just stopped at 5. Yeah. But how about if we want to continue? Actually, we just write continue, and it continues. Let's see again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again here. It shouldn't print 5. Yeah, because this should have been after. Yeah, so that's why you see everything there. Yeah, let's see now. As you can see, 3, 4, and 6. You don't see that. Okay, great. Now we learned about loops. It's just a revision. So I have to stop in here and also the recording. And next week, where do I start? I should start in the list comprehension. Of course, first I have to maybe a bit restructure because I have seen that some students still, your background is not very strong. So what do I recommend you to do? Please, I will give you some contents to read and you should work on that. Please read about functions, and next week we will learn functions and then list comprehension, then higher order functions, and functional programming. Maybe all this next week at once. Okay. And before that, I will give you some video about functions and list comprehension, but especially functions. Get yourself familiar with functions. Yeah, okay, maybe I have to give you some last note. Programming is all about this. It's about variables. You have to know how to store variables. And programming is all about operators. You have to know how to use operators. What are the operators? Arithmetic operators, logical operators, comparison operators. And it's all about data types. You should be very familiar with the different data types of Python, and we have covered today. And then also functions. You have to be familiar with the built-in functions and the custom functions. How to write custom function and how to call custom function. What's a parameter? What's an argument? And then actually also list. List is a very important data structure, and set, tuple, and the dictionary when it comes to Python. And then actually loops. Oh, you know, sometimes some work are very repetitive, and then we use loops to solve repetitive tasks. For instance, if I ask you to print 1,000 number from 0 to 1,000, you use loops, or to sum them up. And then conditionals, like if, else, and then functions. These are fundamentals, not only in here, also in other programming languages. I want you to clear out these topics. Yep. The fundamentals, the basic is the core all the time. And if you have some bottlenecks, usually because of this. Yeah, I have to stop the recording here.